How's it going, guys? It's Glake from theevidentries.com, or I guess formerly theevidentries.com, and now thephantompages.com. It's been a long time since I've dropped any sort of video content on this channel. Actually, it's been a very long time since I've done any video content in general pertaining to the Phantom Pages, or anything else that has been going on this channel in the past. And it is now September of 2023, and I kind of just wanted to provide a quick update on some things that are going to be happening immediately, and just some things that are going to be taking place a little bit more into the immediate future. Think of this as sort of an autumn. I guess it's not even properly autumn yet. So I guess you can sort of consider this to be sort of an end of summer update vlog about some of the things that are going to be upcoming and happening here on this channel, because I've been away for a little bit, and now that things are going to start ramping up a little bit now, I kind of want to talk about how exactly I want to be structuring things, and what my focus is going to be within at least the next couple months here. So I guess first and foremost, I think I should probably talk about the new written content that's going to be going up on the Phantom Pages starting once this video goes live. Everything should be, the first batch of stuff should be up there and already ready for you guys to check out, and that is finally the start of Phantom 23 Year of the Dark written content. So last month I finally officially wrapped up. As a matter of fact, it might have been the end of July, and pretty much all of August I've just been sort of dormant. But I want to say the end of July, might have even been the first week of August or so. I finally officially wrapped up all the written content for Year of the Serpent. All of that stuff got dragged on far longer than it should have, but when it comes to writing, especially sort of my mindset going into the Phantom Pages, after the Avid entries officially concluded, I really wanted the Phantom Pages to be something that I don't have to stick with as strictly. Whereas with the Avid entries, I really sort of had a timetable for everything, and it was, especially towards the end of the Avid entries, it was just like I had to keep up with my timetable. There's just certain times where I wanted certain written pieces to be out by, and I would always just try to rush things out. And I even found myself doing that with the Phantom Pages a little bit more recently, which didn't really feel right. However, now I definitely feel like I'm much more in a sort of headspace where that does feel right. I feel like now is sort of the time where I might actually adopt that kind of way of doing things that I once had been doing with the Avid entries, and kind of sort of swore off at the beginning of the Phantom Pages at the very least. But now I feel like now is sort of a good time for me to start getting on more of a timetable with the Phantom Pages, and that's kind of where I would like to begin talking about all the Phantom 23 stuff, Year of the Dark, written content that's coming up. So first and foremost, yes, the new year of content for the Phantom Pages is entitled Year of the Dark. I like to think of this year as being like the third actual content year for the website, even though, yes, 2020, for the sake of categorizing everything under one sort of branch, I do consider 2020, which was the year the website initially went up, even though it was very late into the year. I believe it was late October, early November, the website actually went up. Even though it was very late into the year and there was only about a couple months left into the year of content, or that I did written content for, I still had to categorize that all under a branch to keep things more organized. And so I think it was last year, actually, in 2022, I sort of retconned the content for 2020 and sort of put it under its own umbrella, sort of its own branch, entitled it Year of the Knife. And since then, we've had 2021 was Year of the Phantom, 2022 last year was Year of the Serpent, and this year is Year of the Dark. But I like to, canonically at least, as far as content and Phantom Pages lore goes, I like to consider Year of the Phantom as the first actual year, and then Year of the Serpent as year 2, and now we're on to year 3 formally. So, just something to keep in mind as as we sort of go into this new year of written content. So officially this month, September, this is the first of the month at the time that I'm recording this. Officially this month, we're going to be kicking off I'm going to be kicking off written content over on the website. The entire, I guess you could call it the entire saga for this year, has a title of its own, just like last year was Phantom Society. This year is entitled Into the Phantom Reality. So it is Into the Phantom Reality. That's sort of the overall encompassing theme, I guess you could say. You can call it more of a theme than a saga, I guess, but the overall theme for Year of the Dark is Into the Phantom Reality. Going to be expanding a lot more on that in the written pieces that are coming up. Overall, it's a concept that I had in my head for quite a while, and I think more so probably the first concept for the Phantom Pages, which I feel like really encompasses a lot of elements, a lot of themes, a lot of happenings and circumstances within my own personal life. I feel like this year of content, for sure, I can sort of, in a way, I guess you could say, express myself a lot more through the written content than I have been able to do in the past. If anything, I think things will be a little bit more transparent with some of the new entries, or some of the entries for this year's written content, and yeah, it's going to be a very interesting sort of transition out of Year of the Serpent into Year of the Dark, and yeah, I'm really excited to start writing. So I guess I should go into a little bit on how things are going to be categorized, how things are going to be structured going forward for this year, because yes, it is late into 2023, and I know this is really, really, really late. But I'm going to get into that in a moment, and hopefully everything will make a little bit more sense. So going into Year of the Dark, I kind of wanted to do things a little bit more differently, because, I mean, I guess to say first off, the Phantom Pages was never meant to be something that was going to stick around or be around as long as the Evidentries was. The Evidentries was a sort of 10-year journey that did wrap up at the end of 2019. Well, technically, very early 2020, it officially wrapped up, but it was sort of a 10-year journey that had wrapped up after 10 years, and the Phantom Pages was originally intended to be sort of an epilogue to all of that, sort of a final culmination of everything wrapping up, and just a definitive end to the Phantom Pages, or to the Evidentries, but in a way it has sort of in a way, I guess I have sort of found a new path, or I guess new purpose for it, and it has sort of found its footing in a way. And while I'm not extremely dead set 100% sure on the direction I would like to take things with the Phantom Pages, I can say definitively that what the Phantom Pages has been throughout the past, well, again, I guess technically 4 years now, but more so 3 years, what the Phantom Pages has been on this third year, and in the past, what has been is coming to an end. I think this is the final sort of year of content of the Phantom Pages in its current form, and while I believe as of right now that it will evolve into something a little bit different and continue on, but maybe in a different sort of format. I think the way that I've been doing things now, and the way I've been telling the entries and all that, I think if anything, after this all comes to a close at the end of Year of the Dark, what you will see as far as the Phantom Pages content or written content in this sort of form, what you will see from me will be drastically different, in a way that I still can't quite conceptualize, if that makes any sense. But it's still going to be a little bit more different, a lot different than what you've come to know throughout the past, couple of years. that has been taking place over on the Fandom Pages website itself. The website will still be used for other things as well, and I'm going to get into that shortly. But I will say that as far as the overall sort of, I guess you could say, this journey, this sort of epilogue of, I guess you could say the epilogue, what this was originally set out to be, which is an epilogue in and of itself, is now reaching its end. And now, if I decide to continue on with the Phantom Pages, it will become a journey of its own rather than an ending of a journey that has already completed. With that out of the way, I kind of want to talk about the first batch of story arcs that are going up, or story arcs, I guess, written arcs that are going up on the Phantom Pages starting this month. And things are a little bit different. Things are going to be kind of different just for this month only, because like I said, I'm starting things super late. I really should have been on things in June, but I still hadn't wrapped up Year of the Serpent written content yet in June, so I'm super late to the party, which is why I'm going to be on a much more stricter timetable when it comes to doing written stuff, writing things, and even doing some video-related updates for you guys. Just I'm on a much more stricter timetable, and I don't want to think of things as being rushed out, because I think this comes from a place of genuinity. Is that a word? Genuinity, I guess. Authenticity, I guess you could say. The amount of stuff that I want to push out comes from a place of authenticity rather than feeling the need to rush this time around. And I think if the feeling were a little bit different, I probably would not do things this way. But starting this month, there's going to be technically four sort of story arcs taking place. And this is going to be very similar for every single saga that takes place throughout the remainder of Year of the Dark. So Year of the Dark will have 3 sagas in total. One of which is, well, I guess I won't talk about the third one, which will be taking place, but that will be next year. After, I guess I can quickly go over exactly how I'm going to be structuring everything. So our first saga, which is entitled Into the Dark Saga, is taking place right now. It's the first saga. It's the main arc for the month of September. And while this was originally, if I started this back in June, this would have been a 3-month arc. It would have been June, July, August. So essentially, I am cramming 1 or 3 months worth of. Somehow I have to find a way of cramming 3 months worth of written content into 1 month. Because in October we will start another new saga, which will go on for 3 months: October, November, December, and then January we will start the final saga for Year of the Dark. But with each saga will come three sort of smaller arcs, and the 3 of which for this Into the Dark Saga arc are Dark Bloom, Convulsions of a Faded Reality, and a Redux saga, or I guess Redux arc, which you can call it that, or remix, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm going with the word Redux. And these are sort of going to be not exactly, I don't want to say exactly retellings, but it's sort of they're all going to be a callback to either a previous story arc or story saga that I've done in the past, and I guess you could say I'm going to be revisiting it in a way, and sort of it's more of a modern retelling, if anything. And I feel like these will be the reason why I decided to do this is because these will be sort of retellings, or and I guess in another way continuations of previous arcs that I feel like were never fleshed out fully, because like I said, I do definitely feel like I've rushed things in the past, and just due to the lack of time, certain arcs were just, I guess you could say, they were never fully fleshed out to their fullest potential. And I feel like or even I feel like they are more so actually I feel like they are relevant today, and I guess this is a way for me to sort of bring them back and continue on with them, and and sort of retell things from a more modern perspective. So each Redux arc will have brand new entries. However, there will be one Redux entry within that Redux arc, and basically that will be sort of a remix on an original entry of that original arc. So in this instance, the Redux arc for the month of September this month, or the Redux arc for how do I entitle this? I'm confusing myself the way that I'm wording this. The Redux arc for the Into the Dark saga is going to be Redux, the Sun, the Serpent, and Society, which was an arc that took place last year during Year of the Serpent. I think it was August. It took place last year, so very close to like the 1-year anniversary of that arc. So that one will be getting reduxed, and it will have a Redux entry, which will be basically a remix of an entry from the original arc, which took place during last year. Sorry guys, I'm like super loopy. I've been through it all today, and yeah, my day is winding down, and for some reason I decided to do this at the end of the day where my brain is just completely out of sync, so you'll have to bear with me. So yeah, those are the four main arcs going on right now. So you got the main arc, which is Into the Dark saga, and that's the overall encompassing saga for the month of September. And then underneath that saga are 3 side arcs, which are Dark Bloom, Convulsions of a Faded Reality, and Redux, the Sun, the Serpent, and the Society. So by the time this goes up, the first entries for all of those will be up and available for you guys to read, for you guys to check out. I can't even remember all the titles off the top of my head. Some of them are pretty lengthy titles. I can probably remember them all out of order. Actually, I know one is The Seeds of Suffering. I know one is actually, I know the first entry for Into the Dark Saga is Intro the Dark Saga. I know one is... Actually, I think I have it over here. Yeah, I do. I do have it up over here. Whoops. One is Where Sabotage Begins, and then the other is Another Prologue to Another End. So, I guess for their respective arcs. So the one Where Sabotage Begins is the first entry for Convulsions of a Faded Reality. Into the Dark Saga, Intro the Dark Saga, obviously, is the first one for Into the Dark Saga. The Seeds of Suffering is the first entry to Dark Bloom, and Another Prologue to Another End is the first entry to Redux, the Sun, the Serpent, and the Society. So definitely look forward to those when the video goes up. Once this goes live, those entries will be live, so you can check them out right away. And I guess that's basically where things are going right now with Year of the Dark. And in October, we will start a brand new saga in October, and we will start 3 brand new side arcs, and those will all go on for 3 months, which was originally supposed to be the proper length for my first batch of arcs. But it is September, and this is how things are going now. But yeah, we'll start a brand new fresh slate in October for the proper amount of time. So those will go on through October, November, December, and then January we'll start yet another third and final arc, and that one I will definitely be sharing with you guys a little bit more. It'll be a little bit different, and that one I will share a little bit more about when the time draws a little bit closer. So additionally, while we're on written content, I also wanted to talk a little bit about some other side writing stuff that I'm going to be doing. More so, I guess in this video update, I want to talk about the Seasons and Archers project, Season and Archers. I can't even get the name right anymore. Season of the Archers project, which, if you did not know, is a sort of story project that I started way back in, I believe it was 2013. is when I originally started that, and it was originally intended to be a trilogy story of sorts, a trilogy short story of sorts, more of a novella, shorter than a novella. It ended up turning out to be ultimately, surprise, surprise, but a 3-part story nonetheless. And I am proud to say that, oh my god, I finished something for once in my life. We did finish the first part of that story of Seasons of the Archers, which is entitled Seasons of the Archers Prologue, and that is currently available. You can read it in ebook format. I think it's on Google Books, and it's on Google Books, and then it's also on a website called Smashwords, and I think it may be on another website as well, but I don't even, it was so long ago that I uploaded all that, almost 10 years ago exactly, which is another reason why I'm talking about that here today. 10 years it's been since I've finished that story, I believe. It might have even been 2014 when I finished it, but I honestly can't remember. I know I finished writing it initially in 2013. 2016, I did a sort of ebook recording, or sorry, sort of an audiobook recording for Prologue, Season of the Archer, and that is you're able to listen to that entirely on Bandcamp. I guess I could leave the link in the description below. It's still on there. But the reason why I wanted to bring that this up today is because I still very much intend on finishing the trilogy. It's still a sort of story that I hold very dear to me. I think it is definitely something long overdue, worth continuing. And the original intent was to finish Median, which is supposed to be the second entry to the story. It's supposed to be a 2-part story. Median in particular is more of a 2-part story, but it's still going to be one whole story. So when I say Season of the Archers, it's a trilogy. It's more of like Prologue, which is out right now, and then Median Part 1, Part 2, and then Coda, which is supposed to be the final part. And you'll understand why Median will be split up into 2 parts if I ever get around to finishing it. Fingers crossed. But there is a completely different reason why it's going to be split up into 2 parts. Narratively, it makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there in case of any confusion. But anyway, I wanted to bring it up today because a couple years ago, I think it was actually 2021, it crossed my mind that, man, I really want to expand on the lore a little bit more. I want to add more into the world. I guess the world that was Blue Earth, in the story of Season of the Archer. But I didn't exactly know how I was gonna do that. I feel like once you put something out there, it's it's sort of just, that's where it's gonna stay, and yeah, you can't just go in and retcon things. But I feel like that's one of the very great benefits of being a writer that nobody knows, or releasing something that not many people have seen, is that, you know what, you can go and make updates, you can go and make changes, and it's completely okay. And that is something that I am going to give a shot at doing. I'm not really sure how well ideas are going to flow to me. I'm not really sure, how seamless the process is going to be. But as of right now, as of the time that I'm recording this, as of September 1st, 10:20 p.m. the Central Standard Time, I am going to be, through the month of September and quite possibly a little bit of October, I'm not really sure I'm going to do it yet, I'm going to be going back and attempting to remix, redux, retell, in a way, the first chapter of Seasons of the Archer, Seasons of Archers. I don't even remember what I call it anymore. Season of the Archer, dude. Get in your head. I know it's been forever since I've even said the name. I'm going to be going back and sort of retelling the story, making some changes here and there. I think for the most part, narratively, a lot of it is going to stay the same. I really want to keep the similar tone that I've kept throughout the entire the entire sort of story, because I think when you read it now, it's probably very obvious that, hey, somebody younger wrote this, and I wanna keep it that way, because I feel like if I'm going to change that much, I'm gonna end up having, it would be better to just write the entire thing from scratch. And yes, that has crossed my mind, but it's not really something that I want to do, especially considering this was supposed to be something that was supposed to be done a long time ago. But I do want to add in some lore bits. I do want to expand on some things a little bit more, because I just feel like if I were to do that, I will be able to tell a much richer story, something much more fulfilling, and what I originally envisioned when I actually get around to writing Median. So the current plan that I have in mind is, starting this month, a little bit every day, I'm going to be editing and just sort of adding some things here and there to the written side, or the written version of Season of the Archer. And when that's all done, hopefully maybe by mid-October, maybe by the end of October, maybe by the end of September. Who knows how much I really decide to add in, but once that's all done and updated, I will take down the current version that's on Google Books and anywhere else I put it up that I currently still have access to. But my priority will be Google Books, because it's much bigger than the other platforms that I put it on. I'll take that down. I will put up a new updated version with hopefully an actual real book cover art, because the one that's on there right now is just something I threw together last minute. I'll get like an actual book cover art done for it, and it'll be marketed as Season of the Archer Prologue Retold, or R. I'm not really sure how exactly, but it'll probably be Season of the Archer Prologue Retold. So that's kind of where my thought process is now. If I am able to get everything all done by the end of September, I was thinking, you know what? Why not just completely update the audiobook version as well? So I'm considering also re-recording the audiobook with all of the new content, re-recording the audiobook from scratch, with all the new content, my current 2023 voice, probably some new audio effects, because actually, what's crazy is I still have the audio effects that I used. I still have the sound effects used for the original audiobook recording. I found them on my laptop. Along with the documents for the original draft for the story, which was something that I like. If I could not find those the original documents for the original story, I was just gonna say screw it. We're just gonna go straight to Median, because I'm not about to write anything from scratch. I'm just not gonna do it. But yeah, I was fortunately able to find them on my laptop, my broken laptop, which I haven't used. So before anything else happens to that laptop, I got to quickly take those files and bring them to my hard drive so, we can start editing. But yeah, I'm just very thankful that I still have those. I'm surprised they're not in my Google Drive somewhere. I tried looking for them, but yeah, they're there. So we can get started finally. But yeah, if I'm able to finish soon, this is an Season of the Archer. Season of the Archer's prologue is a very autumn sort of fall time story. So if I am going to do this, it is something that I would like to get done, before the end of fall. And I would like to start on Median before fall ends as well. So that's why I'm saying, I'm not too worried about the audiobook version being updated if I don't have the time for it. Like I said, my main priority is getting on to Median. However, if I am able to add in what I want to add into an updated format of the first chapter of the story, I will do that. And if I can get it done before the end of September, I am pretty committed to also doing a retelling of the audiobook format as well and having that up for you guys. So that is something I look forward to, and assuming that goes according to plan, November, probably, or simultaneously, really, I should actually start in October. I will probably be starting Median, and so that way, going into November, or at least at the end of November, I can start uploading just as I continue with the story. I can start uploading audiobook entries or audiobook chapters for Median as I'm sort of writing it, which was originally what I always intended to do. I think once the foundation with the lore and everything is sort of set, I think I can do that. But I feel like the reason why I didn't want to go right into Median, especially if I already wanted to make changes, is because yeah, you got to have things set foundationally first before you go on and start writing your sequels, and otherwise it would have just been a whole mess, and I kind of just would have had to sit with how things are lore-wise, and just that would have been a regret that I would have to sit with forever. So that's kind of the thought process with that. So, I mean, if you know about Season of the Archer, if I've ever talked to you about it in the past, just know that it's not something that just is going to disappear into the abyss. I do plan on finishing it, and this year I think finally I am committed to returning to it. So this month we're going to start working on adding some fresh bits into the original telling of the first chapter of Prologue, and I will hopefully have that all ready for you guys by the end of this month, or by October by the end of October at the absolute latest. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. Okay, so last and most certainly not least, I wanted to touch on video content for this channel. So this channel has been dormant for quite a while, and with this first sort of vlog entry, I wanted to talk about how exactly we're going to get into the swing of being a little bit more active on here. So if you guys remember, all you got to do is check what my last video was. We've been doing readings on this channel, and yes, they did sort of fall off a bit, and I am glad to say that we're going to get back to the swing of things by first continuing with our readings. We've got to finish these books. Throughout the hiatus, I have come across even more books that I would like to read on this channel, some of which pertaining to our oh-so-favorite topic, our oh-so-favorite paranormal topic of 2023, which is UFOs. I would really like to read some of these UFO encounter books. It's just, the whole topic has been aliens, and all of this has been the whole talk of the town lately. And well, you know, this is the metaphysical, the spiritual, the unexplained, the unknown is kind of my focus for this channel. Yes, I do written content, and that is what this channel was originally created for, and what it was originally I guess surrounded by. But now that the evidentries is done, this was always meant to sort of spin into something of its own. And yeah, the channel is still named The Evidentries. I still don't know if I'm going to change the title of the channel or not. But I just want to make it clear that going forward, this channel will be a very metaphysical, spiritual, paranormal sort of related channel, and that's the kind of content that I want to do. And you know, we started that off with readings. We're going to be continuing Teal Swan's The Completion Process. So far, I mean, it's a very solid self-help book. You know, if you're going through some tough times, this might be something worth looking into. If you're too lazy to read it yourself, no, I'm kidding. If you just don't feel like reading it yourself, you know, we will be continuing this book. I'm not sure which one I'm going to upload a chapter for first, but the second one that we're doing is the Kybalion, the three initiates. This is something that is a little bit more nitty gritty, a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more cryptic, if you will, when it comes to its material. It's definitely not for the faint of minds. This is one I would most certainly recommend picking up yourself, because you're going to want to highlight some things, and you're going to want to go over things multiple times. Now, for the sake of time and for the sake of how long we've been on these books, I'm not going to go back and go over things that, you know, I wish I could highlight or talk on again. If you want to do that, you're gonna have to pick up either of these books, for that matter, up yourself. But we're gonna be continuing these. Right now, I'm hoping to have a reading for. I think we should probably do the completion process, because these chapters are very long. I'm gonna try and get a new chapter out by Sunday evening, Hopefully this will be available. A new chapter will be available. A new reading up on the channel will be available for you guys. But outside of the readings, there's some other stuff that I also would like to do. It feels very weird to do reaction content on this channel, but I feel like there's just so many things happening, especially especially when it comes to all of the UFO stuff. There's so much happening that when I watch it on my own time, I wish I could be doing commentary on it, and I do that sometimes on my Twitch streams, on my gaming stuff. But I kind of wish I could be able to do content in pertaining to that kind of stuff to an audience that actually cares or is actually interested. When I'm doing it over on Twitch, it's more for, oh hey, look at this, and more for like reactions and just like comedic value, I guess you can say. I don't really expect anybody who watches my Twitch channel to actually want to dive in deeper to this kind of stuff, but since this is what this channel is kind of focused on, just more of that, mystical, spiritual, unknown phenomena type stuff, I feel like I can get a little bit more nitty gritty and dive into it a little bit more deeper. So I think for some paranormal and some more unexplained related content, I will probably be doing reaction content for. Some things that come off the top of my head is just watching interviews from some of these whistleblowers, some of these UFO whistleblowers, watching some of these and just talking about it on video with you guys. Also maybe reading some stuff on Reddit. It is Reddit. A lot of stuff on there is hit or miss, but I have spent a lot of time on Reddit reading paranormal related stuff in the past, and I feel like it'll be a fun time to go over some of that stuff here as well. And maybe something a little bit more down the line are both a Phantom Pages or the Evident Pages, the Evidentries podcast of some sort. I already have a podcast going that's a little bit more gaming centric, even though I want it to be able to talk about everything on that podcast, but I feel like trying to do everything is a little bit too much. I'm not Joe Rogan. But I think as far as like alternative stuff goes, I definitely kind of want to do a podcast that's a little bit more centered around that kind of stuff, and I've been wanting to do one on here for a while. I don't have a name. I don't have like any sort of like concept of like a structure of how that would go. I feel like for my other podcast for G-Sync, it's a little bit more easier to come up with a structure, but for something like this, I really don't know how I would do it. But I'm thinking, if I am going to do something like that, I feel like October, Halloween time would be a really good time to do it. So I'm going to kind of sit on it a little bit, maybe come up with a title, potential logo or design I would like for it, and then a structure, and then hopefully we can start maybe getting some episodes going out in October when October begins. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then in addition to that, I think whether that comes with the territory of a podcast or something completely standalone as well, I would like to do interviews of some sort. It'd be really nice to have some conversations with people who are pretty heavily into the metaphysical and into these UFO topics and into spirituality. It would be really into the occult. It'd be really awesome to sit down, and whether they're educating me or we're just having a conversation, it would be really awesome to be able to have conversations with people, interviews with people who are into this stuff. I feel like in my day-to-day life, that is the one thing that is lacking. I could find people who are into writing. I could find people who are into gaming. I could find people who are into music. But people who are, crazy, like actually really into, the occult or spirituality or the metaphysical, it's not really something you're going to come by. Those are not really the type of people you're going to come by in your everyday data life. So if that will be a bigger part of the podcast or something by itself, it's definitely something I want to do nonetheless, because I feel like that is like the one void that has been lacking, I guess you could say. That's like the one thing that I'm lacking. One connection I'm lacking is people who are into that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm thinking of with that. And again, I like for that kind of thing, I don't really have a timetable. I guess if it happens, it happens. I'm I'm not a trained interviewer. I don't know how to interview people. I can do written interviews, sure, but I mean, when you're on camera, when you're when you're like there in person, it's a little bit different. But you know, I'm really just looking to have a conversation, if anything. So we'll see who's out there. We'll see who might be interested in, you know, talking with somebody of a minuscule, almost barely existing channel, and we'll see if we can get some stuff going. But I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on where my headspace is at, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, I feel like this has gone on far too long. We're already about like a half an hour in, maybe even over that. So I think this is where I will wrap things up. There's a lot of things I wish I could touch on. A lot of things I wish I could share as far as where my thought process is for things, for stuff that I want to do, at least throughout the remainder of what we have left of Year of the Dark, which will be going on from now until the end of March. The end of March 2024. So lots of time still to do things, and I think how I'm probably going to be updating you all for the most part is I think we'll probably end up doing at least one major vlog every season, and then probably some smaller, very shorter vlogs that are more heavily focused on one or two individual things every month or so. So I think probably for this month of September, there's a very good chance there will be a second vlog, and that one will probably be, well, yeah, I guess that one, there's a very good chance that one will be sort of going over the ending of all the current arcs that are currently going on, and I'll probably use that vlog to also talk about the status of Seasons of Archers prologue retold, as well as introducing the next saga that starts in October on the Phantom Pages. So I'll probably use that time for that. But overall, something this large, this time consuming, I probably won't be doing another one of these until sometime either at the end of autumn or at the beginning of winter. So we're kind of in this, as of now, this is like that weird in-between period where, you know, it's September, which people like to think of as fall, but it's also still like 100 degrees outside, so it's not quite the end of summer yet. So we're in that really small, weird period. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really know what too much else to say. I normally update everything the Phantom Pages related. Usually goes on my Facebook page, which is my formal Facebook page, which is Glake Michael Riuno. Those are all separate words: first name, middle name, last name, and then the Phantom Pages Twitter, which I believe is at the Phantom Pages, or I guess it's X now. So at Twitter, or on Twitter, or on X at the Phantom Pages. And then there's an Instagram as well, which is just the Phantom Pages, or no, it's just Phantom Pages is the Instagram. And I'm thinking about creating a Threads for it as well, which I don't really know how many people use Threads still. I was a fan of Threads, but it seemed like it died really fast. But assuming X/Twitter is going to get worse, I'm probably going to be making a Threads for it as well. And if I do, I'll add the link to that in the description below as well, so you guys can follow or whatever if anybody watches this. But that will probably be just Phantom Pages. But that is where all the stuff those are all the pages where I upload whenever a new entry comes out on the website. I'll let you guys know whenever there's a new lyric music video or nature music video out. I'll let you guys know on those pages. A new vlog, I'll let you guys know on those pages. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on today. I know it's been a long update. Again, sorry for the hiatus. Things are crazy. It's oftentimes very hard for me to stick to things. It's very hard to keep focused on things. My brain is always everywhere, and it's just focusing has just become increasingly more and more and more and more difficult as the years have gone by, and it's just something that I have to learn to cope with, really. And when the momentum is there, when I'm on the roll, that's the time that I have to take advantage of. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this update. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your energy, and I hope to talk to you guys very soon in the next vlog. But in the meantime, enjoy the entries, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video update. Take care.